evening, everyone out there in MYBC Consulting Facebook land. You know me, I'm the owner of MYBC Consulting, which stands for the Move Your Bum Chum Consulting Company. And it's Tuesday night at 7 p.m. So that must mean it's the MYBC Virtual Bookstore Author Series. And it's where I bring people that have been referred to me in the way of I've written a book. I have discovered the book and I love the book and I'll seek out the author to find it. Or tonight's guest is a friend of mine that I think we've known each other for about 5 years now, 4 or 5 years. So welcome, first time author, John Pogachar.
Thank you, Jeanette. Thank you for having me. This is so much fun.
It is. You know, I so respect and honor those that take fingers to keyboard, pen to paper, voice recorder to create that book, to live in that creative spirit, because the divine, call it God, I'm God, divine universe, that when we are kept in our creative spirit, addiction doesn't move in. Because we're living our core purpose. And those that take a paintbrush or words or whatever that creative, making great food, we keep ourselves in our creative spirit. So please tell everybody a little bit about yourself, John.
Oh, let's see. I was in the corporate world for a long time. I worked for Nordstrom for 26 years. And then it was just time to go from there. And so I left Nordstrom. I left Nordstrom and just went to figure out what life was going to be outside of work. And I was thinking it would be great, to be retired and live on my 401k and just, to see what that was like. And then when I did that, it's just like there was still something missing. There was still something I'm not creating anymore. I'm not doing. Where's this creativity, outlet for myself? It's just like, okay, I need to get back into do something like that. And I need to also, another thing that came up was, running into Kyle Cease and jumping onto this transformational whirlwind idea of that, if I wanted to really experience love, that would really have to come from inside me. It was not in chasing anymore. It was not in somebody else outside of me. It was not like somebody had to complete me. All these different things that we hear about in the world, like this is the way it's got to be, and love is found outside of us. It's found in somebody else, another person, but it was like, it really had to come down to just myself. And so working on that and crying through those things and just coming to peace with who I am and just going back to being the little kid again. And I think that's my book is so much about that, Jeanette, is just that inner child that just wants to speak from their heart and just wants to play and just wants to be and knowing that they couldn't make any mistakes and that everything was going to be perfect.
So we have a friendship history together. And speaking of Kyle Cease, we met each other at a meditation retreat at Asilomar, just outside of Monterey, California, or I think Monterey, Pebble Beach, somewhere around that area, where we went, I think we've gone 2 years in a row, 3 years in a row, down to this meditation retreat and transformational. And just keyed into you, John, because you are a really interesting, loving, present guy. And that is very rare in this world, to find a gentleman that is not 3 or 4 or 20 steps ahead of himself, always wanting to be there. And you were always very present in whatever we were doing, meditation, writing, walking, whatever we were doing, lots of different good stuff during those 7 days that we were together. And I really appreciate that about you, that you're a very kind, present spirit.
so much, if I'm walking with somebody or being with somebody, it's like put away your phone, put away all that other stuff, and just be with them. Otherwise, you're missing out all the gifts that they're trying to give you. It's like that was a real secret for me. It's like, oh, I'm here to give them something. It's like, look at all the stuff they're trying to give you and that you're missing out on. Even with nature, I had a robin just land a foot outside of a window. I was present at this coffee bar, and it's like, had I not been present at that moment, I would have missed that beautiful God creature coming and just standing there for just a moment, and then it was gone. It's like it was not quick enough to go grab a phone and just I would take a picture. It's like, no, I would have missed it completely. So being just present has paid dividends over and over and over again.
And it is like a soul print. It was interesting. Earlier today, I was at a networking meeting, and there's a lady, Kay Carmen, I think her name is, from Melbourne, that she was zooming in. And we were describing our environment. And the question of the day was, what do you hope to get accomplished by the end of this year, kind of thing. And I'm like, just travel, just go say hello to some people, just travel, go across the line, say hello to you, because you don't live that far away from where I live. And I said, yeah, and out my window, I have this big old growth cedar trees. Like I'm so blessed, John, where I live. I live on 5 acres, a little cottage, old growth trees out my window. And I said, yeah, I have squirrel TV. Like when that they say squirrel syndrome, and I'll be in a meeting and say, oh, squirrel. And they're like, Jeanette, will you come back to, I'm like, no, there really is squirrels out my window playing at this tree that's less than 12 feet away from me. And she said, I've never seen a squirrel. Like in Australia, I've never seen a squirrel. And it was all I wanted to do was to go squirrel hunting for her and take a picture. And then she said, though I've seen kangaroos and platypus and koala. And it was like, so she was present for what was there for her, and really hasn't missed out anything. And it was so magical, this when you say about nature, and truly it surprises you every day. Well, Laura, who my friend Laura, that we were at the meditation retreat, she is capturing these beautiful photography of flowers right now that is just matched. She's so present for Mother Earth and its beauty, and it's quite magical when we're present for the gifts that are coming our way. So I do want to talk to you about this magic word called LOVE, and a little project that was placed upon you. So let's just talk about that little project, and then we're going to get into why you wrote your book.
Okay, so I'm sure the LOVE is talking about the love on every billboard.
Correct.
That I came up with that idea. Now let's see, 3 years ago. It was November 5th, we had our first love billboard, but I had been on a coaching call with Kyle, and all we did was talk about love and loving the inner child and loving this and loving that. And if we just all would come from a bigger space of love, what could happen? So, and then Mr. Cease challenged me to go out and go camping for a couple weeks, and I was down in California, and I was thinking, Kings Canyon National Park was just as not very far away, and I could just jump over there, and I had no idea what was going to be there, but I just thought, well, I just got called there, so I went there and saw the beautiful redwood trees, and not the redwood trees, but the sequoia trees, and was just enamored with them. And some of them had we had fires had come through that area a few different times, and some of them had been burned all the way through, but there was so much character to them, and they were still growing. It was like for some reason, and it just reminded me of the people too, that we get beat down and we get lots of different things happen to us, but we continue to grow. We continue to be who we are. So with the sequoia trees and some meditation I just was thinking one morning, I woke up and I go, how could I put love out there in a bigger way? And the idea of putting it on a billboard came to me. But this was going to be one of the biggest things I probably ever did. And it was like, besides having my children, and it was like, I had no idea what would I do? How could I do that? Who am I? Who am I to do something like that? So I got really scared about that idea, about putting myself out there, about, doing that. It's like, oh, somebody else should be doing this, not me. But through more meditation, more time, through the retreat process, I shared it with a couple different people and who just loved the idea, who thought it would be cool. And that, but was one of those things like, oh yeah, we have a great idea, let's all do this, and it never happening. And I had, going back through my years, there was lots of different things I had talked about I would do, but never did them. But then that word starts showing up for me on people's shirts. It was in a display window, just different places it would show up. And then I happened to be up in Canada helping somebody else with a project, and we'd taken us out to a wharf near the ocean. And I was walking past this red rock, and I go, I wonder what somebody painted on the rock. And sure enough, the word love was on that rock. And I go, I can't believe this. And I just looked up to there. I said, okay, I will go and put my idea out into the world, and let's just see what happens. So when I got back to Spokane, Washington, where I was living at that time, I went and purchased the billboard and had the artwork made up. A friend of mine, we took 10 minutes. I said, this is all we have. We have 10 minutes. I didn't want the inspiration for this to go anywhere. I said, let's just do it. So we did. In 10 minutes, we called back to the billboard company, and they said, this is what we want. We're sending it to you in a PDF. And so just make exactly what we did. So no URL on it, no website on it. It just says love. It's in white letters. It's on a red background. I use that because it reminded me of the Nordstrom sale signs. And I go, if anything pops out of thing, it's going to pop just like that. And so when people drive down the freeway, the highway, just a road, they're going to see it from a mile away. They're going to be able to see this. And so when I did that, and I got back on my coaching call and told Kyle about it, oh my gosh, he was just like, wow, I can't believe you did this, and this is so cool. And he said, well, how much did it cost? And so when I told him $950 to put that up, he goes, I'll buy one. I'll buy one. In fact, I'll buy 2 of them for you. You can have them both in Spokane. You can have all 3 of them in Spokane. And then by the end of the conversation, after I'm blubbering in tears, because it's a hard thing to realize that you need to be able to receive. You need to be able to receive somebody's kind words from you. Sometimes I was very good at blocking those things. I probably in another life was played karate or learned karate, because I was very good at blocking things. And it's like, can you just accept this is a great idea? Can you accept the money that's coming in for this, and let's do this? So by the end of the conversation, Kyle bought 3 of them. So we were able to put up 4 billboards in Spokane, Washington, pretty much in 4 different corners of Spokane that just said love.
So fast forward to today, around the globe, John, how much love has been spread around the world on billboards?
Well, we've had billboards in Austria, in Russia, in Canada, almost every different province across Canada. It's been in 32 different states in the United States. It's been in New Zealand and Great Britain, the UK, and Ukraine. So
just magical. I get chills when I think about it. Can you just imagine going down the road, people? Like just going down the road, and we're so used to tuning out billboards because they're a little annoying and in your face sometimes, or they're distracting where you're supposed to be, paying attention to the roads of life. And all of a sudden, the size of a billboard, we're not talking a little poster. We're talking the size of a billboard with just the word love. No, go to this website, go check out this, just not just love, but love. Like that's magical, John. Like that is so, so magical. So can people still action these through you?
Yeah, yeah. Our website is
Oh,
still open so that people can still get a billboard they want, whether they're any place in the world right now. And I'm working with a gentleman that's in Australia, and he would like to put up a billboard. So we're working on that one. And there's also two of them. Well, there's one going up for a couple months in Portland, Oregon, in May. And it's going to stay up through June. That
beautiful.
a lady came to me and said she wanted to do that, and she had lost her son. Yeah, she had lost her son. She goes, "This, I just know Leo would want this to happen. So can we do that?" So we made that we made that happen. So
Beautiful. So now we're gonna springboard to the love of writing and to the love of wanting to share a story. The next, I'm going to say next path, but not next level in your life, because I know who John is, that this is the next path that you're laying down, living your legacy, taking pen to paper. How did your book come to be? And what is your book's name?
well, the book's name is Mom and Dad, 10 Things I Want You to Know by the Time I'm 1 week old.
Beautiful. Love that cover.
Yeah. So how did that come to be? It came to be one day I found out I was going to be a grandfather. And so I was out. I was in the living room with my daughter and her husband. They were opening up shower gifts. And one of the gifts happened to be a book that they had gotten from a friend. Well, whose friend's grandfather had written that book for a family member. And they thought that would be a neat gift for Jamie and Adam. So I go, I could write a book. And by that time, I had gotten to a point where I'm going to use my ideas. I'm going to put my ideas out there. And maybe not every time, but this was something like, I can do that too. And they looked at both at me and they both rolled their eyes. And I go, no, I am seriously going to do this, So I went to bed with that intention, with a piece of paper and a pen on my nightstand. And I looked up and I said, if an inspired idea comes to me, I'm jumping out of bed. I'm not waiting until 7 o'clock when I get out of bed normally. I'm going to jump out of bed and I'm going to start writing. Sure enough, 1 p.m., ding, I jumped out of bed and I started writing this book, Mom and Dad, 10 Things I Want You to Know by the time I'm 1 week old. It's like everything a little kid would want their mom and dad to know, hey, let's know about this stuff before I get there. So we don't have to get clogged up with, having to teach you guys. So, so I just love it. And so I did that. I jumped out of bed, wrote, dumped everything out of my head as much as I could. And then I go, does that feel okay? Yep. So then I went back to bed, got up at 7 o'clock in the morning, showered and dressed, went to Starbucks and started writing the rest of the book down. And it just like, you put the pen to paper and it just wrote itself. It's just like this inspired thing. I tell you, if anybody out there wants to write a book, they get an inspired idea, jump out of bed and just start writing it. Just put the pen to the paper. It'll come,
Beautiful. Just absolutely beautiful. I love to have you read the back of your book, please. Yep. I loved the all of it, because there's so many times that people pick up a book, and we're not judging the book by the cover. We are taking it to the back. And that is the foundation of the book. And it's, to me, the back of the book is the people that are supporting you. It's the supporting words to what we do in this world. So please go ahead.
Okay. So on the back of the book, it says meditation, patience, self-care, and love. You'll be amazed what your newborn wants you to know by the time they are 1 week old. They want to know about meditation. They want you to know about patience, self-care, love. Another thing that's in here is like, please let me be who I am and not who you want me to be. And it's so important. I think there are oftentimes that, there's that third, fourth, fifth generation of a police officer or an attorney in a family. And maybe one kid just says, you know what, I want to just be a painter. That's what I want to do. I want to paint houses or paint, canvases. I just want to do that. I don't want to do these other things that everybody else has done. So let's see. So John Pogachar, life coach, author, founder of the nonprofit Love on Every Billboard, whose goal is to put the word love and only that word on billboards around the world. To date, the nonprofit, through the people and movement it inspired, has put up 148 billboards, which is, we've changed that to now 722 billboards. We've got a huge gift in February in 32 states now across the United States, 5 countries, which is now Austria, Russia, Ukraine, Canada, New Zealand, and also now the UK. Myself and John and his nonprofit has appeared in the media frequently, including the Today Show, the Chicago Tribune Media Group, and a cameo appearance in the Jason Mraz video, Love is Still the Answer. I'm a father of 2 daughters, a grandfather to an adorable grandson named Finley. And I live in Montana right now. I love the outdoors and exploring our national parks where I find lots of inspiration.
Just beautiful. So I'm going to ask you to turn to number 5. My life, or my name in numerology, is the life path of 5. And I would love to know what number 5, you just read the heading, because I want people to buy your book, but what is number 5 that you want, the one you want the baby to let the parents know at 1 week old?
It says, Mom and Dad, taking care of yourself is a necessity, which is the 5th thing to know. So get some good sleep. No staying up and burning the candle at both ends. When I'm asleep, you sleep. Drink lots of water, eat healthy foods. God made vegetables in all colors of the rainbow, so you wouldn't get bored eating them all. When everyone is sleeping, eating, and drinking lots of water, we can all be feeling good about ourselves.
That is a lesson I need to learn, John. That is definitely beautiful. And I'm going to take a sip of water right now and cheers you with that.
There you go. And I'm going to do it too.
So I'd like to leave you with one question I love to ask at the end of my little chats here. By the way, I always forget, if you have any questions for John about Love on Every Billboard, please put it into the comments. He knows where to find the comments on my Facebook page. And then afterwards, John will get you to put a link where people can buy your book as well after we're done. I do like to stay in the presence for my authors. So if you've got any questions, please do put them in. He will come back and take a look at them later. So I'd love for you to come up with 3 people who you believe your book would be a great gift for.
Well, I think, I keep calling it a children's book, but it's really for the parents. So it's for that mom and dad, maybe the very new mom and dad. Maybe it's the parent that has had 10 children. It's like, what does a new kid wants something new. So that, I think it's great for the new parent. And I think it's great for a parent to be able to read that to their child, I think it's a great book for the grandparents too. Yeah, because they're discovering new things about, this is a brand new individual that's coming to the world. And he's so freaking, or she is so freaking special. In fact, we all show up, to see this little kid, aunts, uncles, people bring money, they bring new clothing, they bring new toys for this little kid. He's so special, And so, yeah, this is just a gift for everybody. And it's a gift for that inner child. If you're just discovering that there's an inner child in you that maybe you've gone through some trauma, and maybe would just sit down and read this book and have a cup of tea and put a blanket around you and just go, oh my gosh, this little kid speaks volumes in these 10 things he wants you to know.
Oh, that's so good. And I'm going to suggest a couple, because after I hear people's story, and I'm going to suggest a doula. I'm going to suggest a labor coach.
Yeah.
I'm going to suggest those prenatal care people that are out there that you go, maybe a nurse practitioner that is in needle care. And maybe some doctors, some pediatricians out there, that what a great gift for that first appointment, and they're going to be in your care. And here, take a look. And maybe those are the conversations you're going to start having to the tummy before the baby comes out, going, I'm going to take care of myself. I'm going to, I'm here for you, and I'm going to let you do what you need to do. So kind of that in vitro coaching as the baby's coming to be. So those are some of my ideas. Well,
yeah, I would just 1 second, as I sent out 20 books to a plethora of different hospitals throughout the United States, just with that idea of what if they had that book, and could they give that out to each new family as they walked out the door? So we'll see what happens.
What an absolute blessing. So thank you so much, John, for exchanging your time today with me. And I know somebody out there is listening to you and your story, as well as why you wrote your story and who they know that could use your book. So I so appreciate your time tonight, my friend. I wish you so much. Incredible life of love, 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 love all over the place and surrounding you forevermore. So guys, thank you for joining me out there. Whether you're watching on the replay, you're more than welcome to put #replay in the comments. If something spurred you here, we want to make sure that you do take pen to paper, fingers to keyboard, or voice recorder to a device. Get that story out of your heart and down on paper. You're going to change lives. So as I often say at the end of these, grab a book off the shelf, grab a cup of tea or a nice glass of water, cuddle into your favorite spot, take your mind, body, and spirit to a place you've never been through the pages of a book. Thank you so much, everybody. And we will be back next Tuesday, actually at 5 o'clock next Tuesday, with another very good friend of mine. So enjoy the night, everybody. Bye-bye.